Hey guys, I'm going to give you a quick strategy today on, if you're a defenseman, how to avoid a very common mistake. And that mistake is rushing the puck down the ice, usually 1 against 2, and not passing appropriately to your forward. You're cutting forward, and your forward either straddles the blue line or they just kind of stop at the blue line, and it takes them out of the play, and they lock their knees and they stand and watch. For the most part, and this is in maybe low level AAA, high level AA hockey. I've seen it throughout forever. It's still going on in midgets, which is U16, 17, 18 high school hockey. Here we go. Okay, situation is this center starts pressuring the D1. Okay, the defense has the puck and he gets around the center. Okay, so the center's out of the play now. Okay. And the defenseman, the left wing starts to change, the right wing starts to change, okay, just for the sake of argument now. And the defenseman sees that, and his mouth, or her mouth, starts to water because they see a full ice sheet, totally ready for a rush. Now, D1 starts his rush, okay, or her rush, and he's crossing over nicely and getting a tremendous amount of speed. Meanwhile, at the same time, a good forward is reading, doing a couple shoulder checks, which means turn your helmet or face towards your right shoulder and seeing what kind of pressure is going on. And just say for the sake of argument, this forward is heading towards the boards here. A lot of times, if there's, say, here, there's a left here skating backwards, okay? Skating backwards, okay? And there is a right D at this point, a little bit further back, and the right D is not doing a shoulder check. The right D is kind of standing still watching that defender. Now, it's up to this defenseman. Even though this defenseman has speed, the forward is still, if you look right here, okay, at this point, this defender has skated from here, crossing over, crossing over, crossing over, crossing over, crossing over, crossing over, getting a tremendous amount of speed, which is fantastic. But the thing is that this player, in their head, thinks that they have, this is beautiful, they have so much open ice, and they're going to score. They're going to come right in and do, their fancy dangle and score. So what normally happens is there's been a line change and players start entering the ice, and this defender, who really doesn't do too many rushes, has a full head of steam, and this forward now over here is starting to slow down. The forward without the puck is starting to slow down. If they're a good forward, they'll start straddling. Okay, if they're not as good or if they're tired, they might just stand still. This forward normally is basically out of the play. The defender comes in, tries to mix it up with the puck, tries to go out wide, maybe tries to go middle, and I think almost 90 out of 100 times, I see a turnover in this area. I don't know how to see if I would say in this area, right around this area, probably closer inside the blue line. There's a turnover. Okay. The problem here lies within, okay? The whole problem that lies within is that the defender waits till there's pressure to try to make a decision. Whether the defender, decides to dump the puck in the zone, okay? If the defender tries to dump the puck in the zone or turns it over and there could be an on-man break, it's normally not a great play. I really haven't seen almost none that have been a fantastic play with that this whole entire spring, which has been probably about 30 games. I haven't seen one, and I saw some really good teams as well. And there was a humongous number one draft pick defender in the United States, who's a U15 kid who's humongous, who did rush, but he never did much either. He just went around the nets. What he would do is with the puck, he would get in because he's so big, and he'd circle the net. He'd circle the net. So which isn't a terrible play, but if that's the best you can do, you're in a much better situation. Okay, much better situation. If that D1 right here after he passes, remember the other center, which was the center was down here. If the D1 if it needs to skate, which is fine, skates with the puck a little bit, okay, and before the pressure hits, catch that forward. Where's that F1? Catch that forward who's been skating without the puck. Catch that forward and lead him. And this is what you really should be practicing more than anything. You should be practicing passing while you're leading the player, okay? Leading the player, keeping it on the ice, and hitting that player on the tape. Now, since you're flying and since you're going fast, don't kill your speed. if it was me personally, I would trail behind that forward, and that gives the forward an opportunity. I'm not a huge fan of that drop pass either at this age group. The drop pass that you see around this area, I'm not a huge fan of that either. What you can do, which would be a great play, is this F1 player inside the zone. Hold on to get this going here. The F1 player inside the zone, right here, and then that D who's been crossing over, that D1 has been crossing over, winds up around here. You can even pivot, duck walk, and make make a fake pass it here, and then skate with the puck and come back in and get that shot off. Okay, so I thought that was an interesting thing that I've been seeing a lot this spring. That's really ineffective. Is that defenseman still trying to do that squirt might coast to coast, and leaving some of their players standing on the blue line, straddling the blue line, and taking them out of the play, especially in the lower level games more than the higher level games.